Welcome to On the Sofa with Nick. Today I'm joined by Sarah Hughes, who is a lead generation expert on LinkedIn. She's also an award-winning marketer and speaks across the world on the subject of lead generation for LinkedIn. So let's have a chat with Sarah and see what we can learn about LinkedIn. Welcome to the show, Sarah. Thanks for joining me on the sofa.
My pleasure.
You are the foremost expert on lead generation for LinkedIn.
Guilty as charged, Nick. Yes,
Okay.
I am. Yes.
Brilliant. So let's go back a bit. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you got to the point of being the expert in LinkedIn lead generation.
Well, it all started in 2009, which seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? Oh. And I've been running an award-winning marketing agency since 2002. And I was saying to clients around 2009, as part of your marketing strategy and activity, get yourself on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's obviously been around a lot longer. But until that point, it hadn't really done a lot and not many people were on it. So 2009 was the changing point. And then clients would say to me, well, we would, but we don't know how to use it. And then I saw a real gap for what LinkedIn was becoming, the unparalleled access it gives you. It's just immense for what it gives you in terms of anyone that's a business audience, you can reach them via LinkedIn, but it's then, well, what do you do to find them?
Yeah.
And then when you find them, how do you get them to connect to you? And then what do you do after you've said hello?
Yeah, well, what's the next step? What do you do?
What do you do after hello? So, so then what I did was really spend thousands of hours researching LinkedIn. I had a whole team of people working with me on it, and then developed strategies for how companies and individuals could use LinkedIn, particularly for business growth. So how you're going to find prospects, connect to them, relationship build, and appointment set. And so that was from 2009. And since then, it's just been, I formed a company called Linked for Success that I run alongside my marketing company. And it's just been mega since then. And LinkedIn continues to go from strength to strength.
Brilliant. I know what that feels like, to have to really dig right into a platform, and you have to know every nook and cranny and work out, you know, you don't know what questions
we
you're
drill
gonna get.
deep, Nick. We drill deep.
We go and find everything.
Deep and wide.
Where's this going? So you decided you were going to focus on using LinkedIn to help businesses generate leads organically, really, from deciding it was kind of a good platform that you could use, going all the way through the process of working out how to leverage that platform the best, and then offering it as a service to help businesses. But how do you actually help businesses? What do you do for businesses that they can't do themselves, from opening LinkedIn and working out how to use it themselves? What value do you bring to that as a service?
That's a great question, because
thank you.
You're welcome. One of the elements of how I've got this knowledge is the thousands of hours over several years of exactly how LinkedIn works. So LinkedIn I compare it to a mansion. It's a mansion and it's got 1,000 rooms with amazing treasures in them. But most people only go into the hallway. They go through the front door, which is their homepage, and they stay in the hallway.
Guilty. Guilty as
It's
charged.
all right, I forgive you. So what I do is open those other doors for them, but in a way that's easy and immediate, because it's the time that it takes, like those thousands of hours that I've spent finding out exactly what works and what doesn't. Companies that use me can shortcut that. They don't have a learning curve anymore.
They don't have to throw in all those hours to work out where to go.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And avoid make mistakes with LinkedIn, because that's the biggie. I see so many people every day making mistakes on LinkedIn about posting really inappropriate material. You know, companies that don't, for example, secure a company page domain on LinkedIn could lose it forever, because once it's gone, it's gone.
That's the same for every platform as well, isn't it? You've got to lock that down.
You've got to lock it down and lock it in. So what I do is really make it, like, just banish the learning curve, so their knowledge is instant.
Okay.
but it's practical and it's proven. So I've tested what works on LinkedIn, so I know what's a really good connectivity rate when you invite people to connect.
Okay.
I know what works with LinkedIn advertising because I've tested it.
Okay.
The other thing I think that's different, because obviously there's loads of people out there that, for example, offer LinkedIn training. And the thing that's different with me is I am a qualified marketer, but I'm also a specialist in sales psychology.
Okay.
So I will give companies or individuals the exact processes and methods that are very emotive and therefore very powerful, because with marketing and psychology, emotion creates motion. So whatever your communications are, they need to really resonate with the audience, because everything is based on two things. There's only actually, Nick, two things in the world.
Go for it.
Do you want me to share what those are?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the two things in the world that make the world spin: pain and gain.
Okay.
Pain and gain.
Pain and gain.
Pain and gain. So with sales psychology, it's looking at, is your audience what we call away motivated? So is it more important to them to solve problems?
Okay.
Or are they towards motivated? So is it more important for them to get massive gains quickly? And what I do is bring to it and show people exactly how to write their personal profile.
Yeah.
So someone will read their profile, and this is how I get business every day through LinkedIn. People read my personal profile and they just think, oh my goodness, that's me and I need Sarah.
Okay.
Through to what messages you post, what articles you post, what you write, how you write it, and what the call to action is in that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't go too far beyond thinking they've fixed their profile like on their own, and we know that that's never, most people could do with some advice on getting that right. Even me, I think you gave me some advice the other week, and I filled out all my videos up and stuff and made it look a little bit better. And I'm supposed to know about this sort of stuff. But yeah, LinkedIn hasn't been my focus, but that was good. It looks a lot better. And beyond kind of connection collecting, I think is the phrase that people that you use. I don't know how much. I think most people do that is they fill in their profile, they add as many connections as they can. Maybe some of them are not that relevant, maybe some of them are, and maybe try and fire everyone a direct message with a sales pitch. And I think that's a lot of, it might have developed, it probably has developed quite a lot more now, a bit more sophisticated, but I think that's predominantly what people started using LinkedIn as, and that was as much as they were getting out of it. So maybe you could help us go a little bit further. Tell us where, go down these corridors. Tell us where these
open
rooms
a few doors.
Give us some advice about what else people can do using LinkedIn.
I really like LinkedIn because it's the direct access it gives you to the previously unreachable. So whoever you want to reach, who is a business audience, you can reach them in seconds on LinkedIn. So there are certain elements that really it's important to take care of. So first of all, your personal profile is key. Yeah. Within LinkedIn, there's three entities. There's the individual, that's your personal profile and your personal account. There's company page, and there are LinkedIn groups. So those are the three entities. Okay. Most of it still works on the individual. So the person, it's your personal account, and you're reaching out to connect with people through that account. So that's still the most fundamental part.
It's still the format of Facebook is the same thing, isn't it? Personal profile, groups and business pages.
It's people connecting to people. So it's really important to get your personal profile right, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Yeah. And what I say with the personal profile, the first thing is LinkedIn, your personal profile isn't a CV.
See, this is where people get it wrong, and this is where it all started, wasn't it, I think? So let's go right back. That's where it was when LinkedIn launched. It was like, this is your place for your online CV. Yeah. It's definitely evolved from that a long way, but maybe the mentality of people getting started still think it's the place where you put your CV. Yeah. And it's not.
No.
Elaborate.
You know what? You can have a CV on there. You can attach a resume. That's fine. But if I work, and people do occasionally ask me about LinkedIn for recruitment, but my biggie is LinkedIn for getting you more business. Yeah. that's the biggie for me. That's what I focus on.
Lead generation and sales.
Yeah, and a direct appointment setting, direct response. So after we've spoken about personal profile, and when we look at a personal profile, if someone's in sales, business development, that's a top tip. Can I share with you this top tip?
Top tip. Let's do it.
Top tip is that if you have got sales or business development in your job title, remove it.
Okay.
For example, if you're currently sales director, see if you can put something like client services director. The reason that I say that is when you are reaching out to connect to the people, first of all, connecting to people you already know is easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
What I equip people to do is to find and connect to people they don't yet know, but they really want to know.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, if you're reaching out to them, you send them an invite to connect, and then it says Director of Sales in your job title, well, guess what?
Deny.
Yes, deny.
Yeah, they know what that connection request is for.
Yes.
It looks like you're connecting to sell them something.
Yes, it's like the minute that I connect to that person, they're going to try and flog me something and I'll never be able to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I don't want the Director of Sales to connect with me. So that's I know. So put something that's relevant. I'm not saying put senior scientist, but put something that's like, I think client services director, for example, is a good alternative, because you're working with them to equip them to buy to become a client, for example.
Yeah.
So that's a mega top tip.
Good tip. Remove sales.
Remove sales or business development.
Business development. Okay, that's interesting.
From your job title and the references to it in your personal profile. So in your LinkedIn personal profile, you've got your personal summary, and that's really important because this is the make or break wording about why people should connect with you. So offer them some value in it.
This is the bit right under your name, is this the full summary or the bit right underneath your name?
That's a really good point. The headline is the bit right beneath your name and next to the side of your picture.
Yeah.
That should demonstrate the value of what you offer to your audience. If you can include a quantifiable in there, as in, I've been working with a great guy who equips motor dealers and manufacturers he guarantees that they will sell 30% more. He guarantees that they will sell 30% more. Okay. And when I interviewed him, and I'm like, what? You guarantee that?
That's hard to
to
justify that from a small client to a really large client. 30% on a huge client is a massive amount of sales you need to increase them by.
And he's got an awesome reputation, massive track record. And I went, right, well, let's get that in the headline.
Yeah.
You're guaranteeing 30%.
Huge.
Yeah. The difference it makes to them is massive. So that's an example of putting a quantifiable, because just saying I help people sell more, so what?
Yeah.
So within the personal profile itself, that's the summary bit, is the big sort of where you can put a large text area that's below your name, what we call the headline, your picture. It's the next section below that.
Yeah. And
it's really important to have in, because that's like your handshake, isn't it? That's when you meet someone, that's your I'm and I help people too.
And that's how they make a decision whether they want to connect with you or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the biggies.
And those are really good for SEO. I don't know, I haven't tried doing this for quite a while now, but when I first set up on LinkedIn, obviously I searched for myself, I'm nowhere to be found. And I fixed all my, as in, I could type in Nick Ellison and be found, that's not difficult. But when you want to, when I was looking more for social media consultancy work, and you type in social media consultant in the UK, and you're nowhere to be seen, I think within a few days I got my LinkedIn profile certainly second ranked on LinkedIn for social media consultant UK, and then got it quite high up in Google searches on my LinkedIn profile, just by fixing those two things, which was the headline and the little strap line underneath and the summary. And you couldn't put media in it back then. You couldn't like put your YouTube video or your slideshow or anything on it there. So yeah, that's a good key, is fixing that up for both your introduction so they understand who you are, but also for being found.
Totally. And you can put your keywords, if appropriate, in the headline, that little bit underneath your name and next to your picture. You can put them in your personal summary. Another major place that LinkedIn, its little bot search for these keywords is in your job title. So you know when you have a role, a different role underneath, then you can keyword load those as well.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the other major place that LinkedIn searches.
Good tips, good tips. So we're going to look for some more, we're going to open some more doors.
Okay, yeah, that's
Down the corridors, open some more doors, look for some treasure.
So personal profile.
Personal profile's one.
Got to get that right first of all.
Yeah, that's the first one. Next one?
Next one is the company page on LinkedIn.
Page, okay.
That's important because especially, first of all, you need to create your company page. It's free to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a paid for LinkedIn membership. It's instant and it just secures that domain so that no one else with a similar name can nab it.
Yeah.
So the other big benefit of the company page is you can use it as an internal communication tool if you like. Yeah. So that everyone, as soon as someone registers on LinkedIn and they put their role in and who they work for, automatically they'll get the streams in their homepage about any announcements that are on the company page.
That's good.
That's one thing. Another big benefit of the company page is that when you issue a status update from the company page, because that automatically streams in all of your employees' homepage on LinkedIn, it's a really good way of then your employees, you can say to them, look, when you see an update from the company page, could you like it? Could you share it? Could you comment on it? And you don't have to think as, let's say you're head of communications or marketing, you don't then have to think, right, well, I've got to then get all of my people individually to write that status update on LinkedIn.
Got you, yeah.
So that's a
they can
nice
interact
benefit
with the company and, you know,
and still share the message and get visibility,
get more
of the
distribution
message.
on the message. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's not something I've ever. I think I have created a business page and never used it, but it's not something I've looked into. Does it still feel the same as a kind of, in a Facebook sense, we say do your business on your business page, but it's not really the same on LinkedIn because LinkedIn's built for business, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get to is it feels a little bit like duplication. If you're, let's say, a personal brand, how do you separate where you put your information, personal profiles, LinkedIn pages?
That's such a good question. One of the things that I do, it's called Linked VIP, and it's a day for solopreneurs.
Yeah.
It's a one-on-one day, because the one issue that solopreneurs or personal brands have is, well, how am I using LinkedIn to build my personal brand?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is if your customers are other businesses or other business people rather than consumers. So within that day, we look at, for example, well, what should I be doing in my personal profile and what should I be doing with my company page? If you are a personal brand, and I've got to just tell you this joke, because someone said to me the other day, what did you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I've always wanted to be a brand. So
said no one ever.
They'll start saying that.
They probably will.
So with that, what's really important for a solopreneur or a personal brand, or say, you know, someone that wants to build a personal speaking business or become a published business author, all of those types of people, get your company page set up to protect the domain.
Yep.
But then stick with your personal profile, because for you, the company pages come into their own when it's a big business, for the benefit of you can automatically stream all your news feed to all your employees' home pages.
That's what it felt like a bit. If I went and set up a Nick Ellison Facebook, LinkedIn page, that I would be then duplicating it. Whereas actually I'd probably spend most of my time putting Nick Ellison stuff on the personal, and maybe High Rise Productions or Roundup TV, the products or something, could be business pages. That could work, couldn't it? Yeah. It's like free consultancy, this.
Free expert consultancy, Nick.
I think what we're going to do is, because I'm conscious of these interviews going on for too long, I'm going to separate them up into separate sessions. And I think we're at about 25 minutes already.
No.
25 minutes in. So I think that we're going to end that at the end of session 1 and come back in session 2 and talk about maybe opening some more doors. We've got some questions that we took on Facebook for Sarah, and we'll learn more about Sarah and where you can get hold of her and have a look at her programs online. So if you're struggling to find any of them, look for nickellison.net/on the sofa, and all the interviews are there, and look for part 2 of this interview. I'll see you in a minute.